Yo, coming lady code where I'm diving in you. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Games Kids. Today and only today I come to you with some crazy news that guys, this week we might be getting a new Sonic game coming out, not coming out, but you know, being revealed and everything. And you know, I don't want to waste any time, so let's get right into it. So this started with this guy on Twitter called King Gronk Nick. Now I'll get into why, you know, we should listen to this person, why everyone's gonna go, huh? So let's explain this. So this guy tweets the other day, on the 31st, roughly, Ronins will rise. What we'll die stranded, have a rebirth, and Kojima will fulfill his dream. Sonic will live in the shadow of his generation, while the hills will remain silent. Silent until the dawn, when you'll need to catch the metro. Just don't be Judas about it. Now, I know you probably feel like you're psycho for reading something like this, but this is this person's way of doing riddles, actually, for leaks. And this guy has had actually a pattern of this before. Shout out to Sonic Stadium for finding this, because I knew this guy did this before. But yeah, this guy, you know, in the past, in September, said good to see PlayStation take baby steps towards expanding how they tell tales that arise from stars made of foam and stuff. And they called everything from that state of play. You know, they said foam stars would be in it, Tales of Rise would get a random DLC. Like, they knew stuff that would be in there, right? And then the next thing they had gotten right, I believe, was hold on, let me pull it up over here. It's this. Yeah, well, sometimes you gotta build them roadblocks to have a better foundation for a rebirth before you dive into hell. That's when they showed Helldivers, they showed the rebirth trailer, and they showed Roblox coming to PlayStation. And then here, I'm sure there'll be some VR stuff. I'd say the Mercenaries and 4 stuff will be probably in watching VR. So this guy is basically like the state of play person. And not just that, right? But the things he's talking about, right? We'll die stranded, meaning we're probably gonna see Death Stranding. That makes sense because actually last week, the title of Death Stranding leaked. I think it's called Death Stranding 2 on the beach or something silly like that. But yeah, that day lead. And not only that, right, what lends more credibility to this is they say silent until the dawn, right, which is referring to the game Until Dawn, which also got delisted in the European PlayStation Store like a few days ago, and also is getting a movie. So the rumors of this game getting some kind of remaster next gen edition makes sense. But obviously we're here to talk our boy Sonic will live in the shadow of his generation. Now everybody on Twitter going crazy. This is obviously sparking the conversation that this is going to be a Sonic Generations remaster. Now here's what I want to talk about. I will entertain this person just for the sake of conversation. I think Zippo talks out of his ass, but let's see what he has to say just so we could kind of baseline a conversation. Like I said, I think this dude keeps shit vague just to, you know, hit, you know, bullet points, but let's read it just for the sake of it, right? So here's the bits I know, right? We're certainly gonna see a Sonic Generations this year. It's a remaster from the ground up. It's now running on Hedgehog Engine 2. The console versions will now run 60 FPS with the 4K option. There's been very strong internal mandates for Sega Arabs to improve quality of Sonic remasters from now on, so knock on wood, no colors ultimate and origin mishaps. There will be brand new content featuring Shadow. We'll release the first half of the year sometime around Sonic's 33rd anniversary in June. Like I said, this guy keeps this shit vague, and to go ahead and speculation, this is not the Sonic and Shadow game I'm hearing about. That's a brand new game coming this holiday. Listen, I don't really necessarily believe this guy, but whatever. And then obviously PlayStation has officially tweeted that there is going to be a state of play on Wednesday. So guys, I think it's locked and loaded. Write it down. We are getting a Sonic game revealed this Wednesday, and this is a big state of play. I mean, this is 40 minutes covering 15 plus games, including extended looks as Stellar Blade, Rise of the Ronin, which the guy mentioned, and more from our talented developers around the world. Now let's get into the conversation. All right, let's get into it, because I know a lot of people have a lot of questions. First of all, why Sonic Generations? I think that's the first thing a lot of people are asking. Why would Sonic Generations of all games get a remaster? It's, you know, it's accessible and people have already played it. Well, here's the thing. The game is not available on PlayStation and Switch. I think you can play it on that PlayStation Plus, the not PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now, which is like that streaming service, but that's awful. But the game is not available natively on Switch and PlayStation, and that's like Sonic's biggest markets, right? People aren't playing Sonic on Xbox. I'm sorry. I mean, they're available on Xbox, and some people can play Generations there, but the average can't. So having one of your most well-reviewed games, right, ported onto next-gen hardware is probably a big deal, probably a pretty important thing to have in your pocket, to have that game on on the consoles that everyone's playing and to have more access to it, right? Like I said, I've said this for a long time, that, you know, that Nintendo Switch not having generations is like a crime. Also, can I get a shout out for that video a few days ago where I said I had a feeling something Sonic was coming in a state of play? Bro, I really might be him. Let's talk about what is the big hint here about Sonic will live in the shadow of his generation. Now, this tells me we're getting new content in generation centered around Shadow the Hedgehog. Now, obviously, this makes sense. We've talked about it. This is the year of Shadow the Hedgehog, new movie, new everything. It's time for that character to shine. Now, I know a lot of people are probably gonna say, like, well, what do you do with generations, right? With Shadow specifically, because the whole game is about Sonic and classic Sonic. Well, the idea or rumor here would be that, you know, Shadow would get additional content. So this is what I've been asking also for a long time. I mean, I've always said I would love a Generations 2 that, you know, expanding on some more Sonic levels. For example, right, what if we got Sonic Generations? What if this game had, you know, a level from Lost World? You know, that would be cool, seeing that in this engine, right? Or even Sonic Frontiers. Imagine seeing one of the open zone areas, and there even like a cyberspace level, like the highway one, as a full gens level. There's even Sonic games that haven't been represented in Generations that could be crazy. I mean, imagine a level from Shadow the Hedgehog in the game. Like, that would be awesome, right? Or even take another level or two from some of the most popular ones. I feel like there's a lot of potential. Dude, could you imagine Studiopolis in Sonic Generations? Like, that could be incredible. Obviously, let me know what levels you would like to see added to the game. But obviously, the question now is Shadow the Hedgehog, right? If he's the big hook for this, you know, HD port or whatever, what would they do with him, right? Well, obviously, to me, they'd probably have to make it like a second campaign in the game, because you can't really shoehorn Shadow in the story, right? And I think you'd have to give him some new content, some new levels in there, and some new side story. Will it be all 3D stages? Probably, and that's what's most exciting to me, right? Is if they do an episode Shadow, it's probably gonna be all 3D levels in there. Now, the big question here, right? Here's the big thing, is what is this game going to look like, right? Because here's the thing. The reason this game hasn't been able to be ported for so long is because Sega has had issues with the Havoc engine. Now, this game was made on an engine called Havoc, or I think released. There's something to do with this Havoc engine that was involved with the game that has stopped it from, you know, being able to be ported. Now, it's either they solved it, or they have deadass had to remake the assets and rebuild it on Sonic Engine 2, which means the game is going to feel a little different, right? And I know some people are probably going to feel some kind of way about it. Obviously, with how Sonic Colors Ultimate turned out, people always have a lot of questions about how a Sonic game is going to, you know, be remastered now, especially after Origins, right? But I feel like this is probably a safe dub. I mean, it's Sonic Generations, pretty beloved game, and I feel like they've also learned a lesson. Again, I could be talking out of my ass. I'm a pretty positive person. I don't really dwell on the negative right away. But for me, I just feel like, you know, having this game looking on a new engine and how it could potentially play and feel like in HD would be incredible. Now, I know there's crazy mods out there for Generations that people love and care about, and that's a big concern too, right? They better, I'm telling you, right? Here's the thing. The reason why this also has to be some kind of remake, or, you know, is that they probably need a second SKU of the game. Like, you probably need to be able to sell Generations not alongside another thing. In fact, actually, let me tell you something crazy, right? There is a Sonic sale going on right now on Steam, and it doesn't have Generations on it. You see, the Sonic Generations is not on sale during the Sonic franchise sale for Steam. So I mean, it's pretty much locked in. I mean, this is happening whether we like it or not. And like I said, I don't want them to delist Sonic Generations originally, because that game has some of the craziest mods in the entire series, and I think that would be one of the first uproars. I feel like that would be really valid if they delisted original Sonic Generations, because people worked on those mods for fucking ever. I mean, imagine something like Sonic Project Unleash that just wiped because Generations is gone. I really do hope that's not the case, right? But I don't know if they're gonna go and do a big update to it on Steam. They're just different SKU. But to me, this tells you they're gonna have a different SKU. It's gonna be called Sonic Generations something. You're gonna have Shadow in there. You're gonna have it learning on a new engine. We're gonna have new levels, and it's just exciting stuff, you know. And obviously, we're gonna get this reveal in less than 48 hours now, so we won't have long to speculate and talk. But let me know, of course, what you guys want to see. What do you guys think is the biggest challenge? What do you think could be added? I mean, I think with Generations, I just want more games represented. You know, I would like more Sonic stuff in there represented that's been existing throughout the years. You know, even imagine some of the Sonic 3 generations 3DS levels added in there. Imagine like the DS era stuff represented in there. Something, a level from Sonic Advance, a level from Rush. I would love stuff like that in there, you know, because the fun of Generations was seeing, well, how do these 2D levels play in 3D? How do these 3D levels play in 2D or in a modernized vision? But I would love to see what they will add. But guys, let me know especially what you guys want to see. Are you excited for this? Are you scared? Let me know all your concerns. But I really can't wait to see what's cooking with the team, what Shadow's gonna do and all that stuff. So thank y'all for watching. You're the best. And of course, I'll see you all next time. Peace out.